D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So, pardon me, man, I still have a cough. I'm a little bit still under the weather. I don't know what's going on. Apologies. Okay, so I just finished Stargirl, season 3, episode 12, and man, I liked this episode, you guys. It was good. I'm bummed this show's ending. I'll tell you that right now because it's just like listen, is it Oscar worthy, like writing and directing and all that nonsense and acting? No, but it's good. I really like this show, and I've said it before. I think that the writing is good because I think the acting is good. They hit the human moments where they need to hit it, and I really like that a lot. I think that when next week is the season or series finale, which I'm bummed about. I really want to know what they had in store for season 4. This one, it had a big reveal slash spin or whatnot, or turn and everything, and I was just like, man, I really wish that they had a season 4, because I would like to see what they could do going forward, but we're not going to get it. I get why. I don't think the ratings on the show is like particularly awe-inspiring, but at the same time, I'm just like really bummed, because I do like this show, you guys. It's really good. I mean, I like it. I mean, you may not like it, but I think that it doesn't have a message. There's no political, leanings or whatever. It's just a show. It, does its thing. And that's what I like about it. And it's superheroes, All right. I'm gonna get into this breakdown and everything. But before I do, you guys, I just want to say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we just keep getting shoved to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. All right, so now that I got that nonsense out of the way, let's get started on this breakdown. Okay, so it starts out decades ago and everything. And we get this award show where this actress, and I cannot remember her name, wins this award, this crappy award. It's not an Oscar, I'll tell you that. And she's like, thank you. And she gives her little speech. And here she is in her house. And she's like, you did it. And then this guy comes in. He's like, you did do it. And she's like, oh, I thought you left. The party's over. You need to go. I have a guest coming. And he's all like, I love you. He's like, I see you who you really are. You're always acting, but I see you deep down. Show me who you really are. So she takes the statue and she, beats him to death with it. And she's like, oh, you really saw me and everything. And then in comes Dragon King. And he's all like, oh, who's this? And she's like, somebody that got too close. And he's all like, he shows her his little snake arm. And she's all like, doing what you want. And she's like, listen, I want the body of this gorilla. And she's ultra humanite. Because remember the last episode, or not last episode, but a couple episodes, she talked about how ultra humanite had put his brain in this actress. So then we go back to present day. And Pat goes in here and she's talking about Artemis and her parents dying and how she's really bummed about it and everything, and the sacrifices and all that stuff. And then Amy Smart, ooh, look, there's her name. She comes in, she's like, it's not just your guys' fight, it's our fight. And I'm like, oh, get out of here, Amy Smart. You're not doing anything special. So then they see that Sylvester is gone. And he's all like, well, he wants to kill Iceman, whatever, Icicle. So Artemis goes back to her parents' gym, and she's full of rage, which you totally get it. I mean, her parents died and everything. I get it. But in comes Sylvester. He's all like, hey, she's like, what are you doing here? He's like, I just want you to know. He's like, you need to go back to school. You need to live out your life like your parents wanted to. And she's all like, yeah, well, I want revenge kind of thing. He's like, I'm going to kill Icicle. And yeah, we find out later. Yeah. So then Rick got the hourglass and he takes it off and he starts going into, he's like, oh, it hurts so bad kind of thing. Which, sorry. Apologies. I should have water, not coffee, but I can't help it. My blood is practically half caffeine by now. Anyways, so he's in a lot of pain when he doesn't have the hourglass off because he took that inhibitor thing, which we found out later was a bad idea, which I knew was a bad idea from the get-go, but whatever. So then these two, she tries to call him, but he doesn't answer because he's like, I'm freaking hurting here right now. And so they're sitting here in the garage, and in walks Sylvester, and he's talking to him, and he talks about legacy, and he talks about the night the JSA died. He's like, you know, he talks about those. He's like, Dr. McNider had a kid, and then he talks about like, the others that had kids, but then he talks about the ones that didn't have kids. Green Lantern, the Spectre, and himself. And he talks about legacy. And he's like, listen, when you guys decide to hang up your costumes, go out and find people like yourselves to carry on your legacy. And I thought that was really good. It was a really good speech. I really liked it a lot. I thought it hung true. You think, I never thought about that kind of stuff. Like, I was like, before I had kids, I never thought about like my legacy and everything, because I'm kind of like one of those people, like, once you die, I mean, the people that they'll remember you, but eventually you'll just get forgotten. And it's like, at the same time, I go, you'll be dead, so will you really care? And I'm like, I don't think I'll really care. But I thought that was nice, talking about legacy and, what you need to do and all that stuff. So I thought it was really good. And he's looking up at the robot. Important. So then Cindy is talking to these two yahoos, and they go back to ISA's little hideout. And she's like, my father had, he experimented on me. He gave me these shivs and everything. But he had all these laboratories, and I can't seem to find the one that I need to. And he's like, oh, I got it. I'm going to make a wish. And Mike's like, don't just make a wish willy-nilly. He's like, I know what I'm doing. And he doesn't know what he's doing because he's stupid, because he's a kid. Kids are stupid. And he wishes to go to the place where they need what they need, or some crap like that. I can't remember what he says. So back at the Icicle Mansion, Connor is trying to call or text Stargirl, and his dad comes in. She's like, no, I'm responding my text. And she's all like, and then he tells him, he's like, hey, your teacher, your art teacher? And he's like, yeah. He's like, he may be dead, not just missing. And he's like, what? And that's where that ends. So then Sylvester comes in, and Pat's all like, what are you doing, Sylvester? You need to not do this. And he's all like, and then Sylvester gives this great speech, and this was really good. I liked it a lot. And he talks about how he's like, I mean, it was mean, but it was good. And he's like, you know what, Pat? You were always a joke of the JSA. You were like our little joke machine. We always made fun of you because you were what held us back. He's like, the night what we were attacked, instead of me focusing on what I needed to do, I was focusing on saving you. And that's what got me killed. And I was like, oh man, you're going harsh on him. He's like, you will never be a hero. You will always just be a sidekick. And I was like, that's hardcore. That's hardcore mean. But I was like, hey, and later on you find they say, well, he just did it to protect us, kind of thing. I'll bring it up later. But so he goes out, and Stargirl's all like, hey, she's all like, I thought you were my father. And when when my real father showed up and took my locket, I was devastated. She's all like, but she's like, the whole time, who was there for me? Pat. And I'm happy that Pat's my dad. And I was like, yeah, fuck you, Starman. Pat's awesome. I do like Pat a lot. And so then he's all like, come here, staff. And she's like, Cosmo. And he's like, the staff is coming to me because all along it's mine and it belongs to me, not you. And I was like, oh, that's hardcore too. And then, sorry guys. Sorry about that. It's lunchtime. So then she's all like, why would he say this stuff? And this is where he's all like, listen, he said this stuff to protect us. He did this before, but he was saying that stuff so we wouldn't go getting ourselves into danger. And then so they transport themselves to a laboratory, and they're like, where are we? He's like, you didn't ask us to go. You asked us to go to the place where you needed whatever it is that you needed for Cindy. And he's like, what you needed for Cindy, Jakeem, was to impress her. And this place will impress her. And I'm all like, oh my. And then I'm like, it's the place that they do need to go. But I'm just all like, Jakeem for being all like, oh, I know what to do. And it's like, I was like, kids are dumb. So she's like, this was my dad's laboratory. There, you got it right. So then here, Starman took out the robot because he was looking at it before, and he's all like, he did it. So he did it so I wouldn't help him out, but I'm going to help him out because he went to the Icicle Mansion. Then Courtney's all like, if Rick comes by, tell him we're looking for him or some crap like that. So then she opens up the door and there's Rick. So then then he goes into their mansion with a flamethrower, and I'm all like, you're so silly. And so she's sitting here and she's like, somebody's in here doing experiments. They're working. And then so he's looking through the mansion, and Granny and Grandpa are out. They went to the teacher thing, memorial. And Starman's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, hey, I'm here to help you and everything. And he's like, fine, whatever. So then inside this laboratory, they're like, is that a dead body? And then they lift it up, and she's like, it's my dad. And they're like, moo. And so then she takes off the mask, and his head is gone. His head is gone. And she's then in comes Ultra Humanite. And he's like, hello, daughter. And I'm all like, oh. And then they're all like, if that's your dad and his brain is in Ultra Humanite, where's Ultra Humanite's brain? And it's inside Starman. And then he knocks Pat out, and Starman is Ultra Humanite. His brain is in there. That's how we knew. See, I knew there was some kind of twist of him being brought back to life, but I didn't guess it was Ultra Humanite's brain in there. I was like, man, that's good stuff, because they got me. Like I knew, if you go back and watch my reviews, I kind of got this whole something's going on. He got brought back to life, but no, we know now why. And he's like, what do we do now? And he's like, I'll take care of him. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, no, don't kill. And look at that little grin. So then Ultra Humanite's like, he's like, this is a really good look for Ultra Humanite. They could have done this with practical like makeup and stuff. They could have done this like with latex and stuff and not spent so much money on this, but whatever. Anyways, she's like, Dad, is that you? Is that you, Daddy? So then Rick is sitting here talking. He's like, I have excruciating pain when I take this sucker off. And Sylvester told me to do it. And she's all like, but there was in the goggles, there's a record. Your dad had a problem with this before, and this JSA helped him figure it out that he needed to put that inhibitor on. Why would Sylvester have you take it off if he already knew about it? And so we go to Pat, and he's inside this grave. And I'm like, no, not Pat. I like Pat. He's one of my faves. And he's like, sit. He's like, power down, staff. And the staff powers down. Calls him Cosmo. And he's all like, hey, so he's basically like, okay, so this whole time he's talking to Pat, and he's like, why are you doing this? He's like, the actress that he was before, she got, he's like, being the big gorilla was great, but I had to hide myself. I had to go in hiding. When I was the actress, I got adulation. I got recognition, and I wanted that. That's what I wanted. I wanted it back. I don't want to be this big, giant, albino gorilla. I wanted to be somebody that was recognized and got, fame and everybody loved and everything. He's like, and I was going to be Starman. And so he's bearing him alive or whatnot. And he's like, listen, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. And he almost gets him to do it. But he's like, you almost got me, Pat. And then he starts bearing him. He's like, and he starts telling about his plan. So he's like, they let me in kind of thing. And I had to fake, being attacked. And yeah. And he's like, and then I had to take down your team. So Courtney was easy. Yolanda, I just got her to get rid of Cindy because I knew Cindy would see right through me. She would see that I'm Ultra Humanite. So I got her to constantly question Cindy. And that was from that episode where he's like, you can't let, bad guys go because they'll just, come back and everything. I got rid of Beth by distracting her with her parents. And that's when he did his speech about protect the family. That was my number one rule. And I was like, ooh, this is good. And he's like, and then Rick, I got him to get rid of that inhibitor in his thing. And bada boom, bada bing. He's like, he's probably in like a lot of pain right now. He's like, and Mike, I just sent him and Jakeem, trying to, prove that they could be important too. Oh, and he's like, and then he goes, and then he's like, and you want to know what the big plan is, Pat? And he's like, oh, and he filled up the grave, and I was like, no, I was like, if Pat's dead by the end of this, I will be upset because Pat's my favorite character because he's a good dude, and I think I just connect with him because he's dead. And then he was also talking about he's like when I was becoming Starman, he's like because. He's like, they're right about the cosmic energy. It preserved the body, but Starman was dead. The brain was gone. So they just put my brain inside Starman's brain. And then he's like, and then I went and I found everybody that knew you. I found your old landlord. I found your Mike's mom. And I just learned everything I could. And he's like, by the time I found you, I got to you, I was Sylvester Pemberton. And then he's like, and then he's like, bye, Pat. And then he like walks away. And you see this grave. And I'm like, no. And that's where the episode ends. And I just want to say the big reveal was so good. So good. I was talking about like at the beginning how this season is kind of being slow. And granted, they could have done a little bit more, but this was a good episode, you guys. Like, this was super good. Like, I was super happy with the ending of this episode. Like, I was all like, this was worth it. And now the next episode is the series finale. I think I'll do a series review. It might take me a hot minute to gather up some stuff and everything, but gosh, I really wish this wasn't going away. Next Star bought CW. If you guys could do a Stargirl movie and just like, really do something cool, that'd be great. I'd really appreciate that. If not, I get it, but whatever. But yeah, this was a good episode, you guys. I really liked it. I'm gonna be bummed when this show's gone. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be bummed because I do like it. I think it's good writing. I think the acting is solid. I think the special effects when they have them are solid. For a TV show, they're not movie level quality, but what are you gonna do? But yeah, I just really liked it. I have nothing but good things to say. I'm super bummed that this show's going away. So this was kind of a short one, but I mean, it was a lot of talky, and I'm not gonna sit here and repeat it verbatim, but I really did enjoy this episode. I thought it was really good. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep saying that because it's so good. It's so good. But tell me, what did you guys think about this episode? Did you like this episode? Did you not like this episode? Who's your favorite character? All that good stuff. Ah, crap. There's a lot of stuff going on. But tell me what you guys think. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week on the Stargirl series finale breakdown and review. You guys have a good week. Bye.